Good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. Now today isn't a gardening episode, although I'm back here starting out first thing in the morning in the garden back here. I'm actually putting down some manure. Our good friends Dave and Emily from Back Buying Farming with Dave and Emily, they stopped by last night, and something that I always say, Emily's always giving me a bunch of crap all the time she comes to visit. Well, and I mean that affectionately, because that's what this is right here. This is cow manure, and it is the best thing for your garden, especially if you have a vegetable garden. But it also works with other things, all your other fruits and vegetables around your yard. Again, today is not an episode on gardening. We're going to go across the street and we're going to do an update today on the build at our Canadian neighbors build directly across the street from us, and it has to do with rendering. So if you're interested in what you can do to make your house look nice and also make it stronger, maybe today's episode is for you. So without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Well, I see them next door doing some interesting stuff that I don't want to miss, and it has to do with doing features on the outside of your house. A comparison between doing precast and doing cast in place or cement that's part of the house build itself, and the importance between the two. Let me give you an example of why you don't want precast, or maybe why you might want to stay away from precast. And this has to do with things like this. You see the defects and the cracks inside the precast mold. Now the cracks that you see in this precast, it's a detail on the side of the house, it could be a result of just very poor quality workmanship. Somebody trying to cheat the system, putting too much water additive inside there, or it can actually be part of the installation process. Let me show you using straight concrete as part of like a plaster coat process, and where you'll have a lot less problems and will probably last the lifetime of your house. Let's go ahead and go and look at what Romeo's crew is doing on our Canadian neighbors build. Now, one of the questions that always comes up is, what is the recipe that they use to make the plaster coat that goes on the side of the building? What are they putting inside the mixer as far as ratio goes, cement to sand? Well, let's go ahead and start with the sand over here. So you can see what they're doing. They're already using sort of fine sand that they have here, and the fine sand is going to be made even finer by being sifted through screen inside here. And it's just something as simple as putting it inside, just like if you were sifting flour to make a cake. And you get all the big heavy-duty rocks, and then they toss the rocks over into this area right here. So that's part of the smooth finish that's on the side of the house. The next thing they're going to do, they're going to take three parts of the sand to one part of the cement mix itself, and it's like a Portland cement mix. And then they're going to mix it inside the mixer over here, and I'm not sure the exact amount of water that goes. These guys kind of do it by feel. They go inside there and they look and they see the perfect consistency, then they'll stop and they'll pour it out inside the mixing box over here. Then, once it's mixed, they're going to take buckets of this and they're going to bring some to each one of the people that are working on the side here. And the first thing that they're going to do, just like I showed you the other day for the wall that's being built, they're going to splatter it on the outside in big chunks. And the chunks are going to sit there and dry and cure a bit, so that now when they do the final coat over here, on top of that, it has something to grab to and won't slide up and down. You won't get any cracks and breaks in your final finish of the plaster coat on the side of the house. Now let me show you a technique that I like that this contractor and his crew are doing, as opposed to doing precast on the side of your house, which I told you earlier. You can see there's some problems that could happen later on if you don't have a good quality precast and you don't have a good quality installer, and they're trying to save money. You're going to get problems like I showed you on our house. Now, this is a way for them to do the plastering on the side, like the plaster coat with the mixture that I showed you on the other side. And what they'll do is they'll do the detailing using pure mortar mix from that. That's the 1-to-3 part, the cement to the sand. And they do it inside, the detailing inside the plaster as they're going along. This becomes part of the entire structure, the strength and the details on the wall itself. And this should last a lifetime without any issues and any defects. All right, here we are just a few days after our initial visit over here for the rendering, and we're just going to see how far they've come with the rendering in just a few days. Now, remember the other day were starting on this side right here. Look at how much they got done on this wall as well as this wall right here, and the flat rendering along the top up here. You see a lot of the formwork is taking off now, exposing the concrete pour from a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Look how nice and smooth the rendering is done for the detail along top, and it will be continued on down here as well. And it will kind of give it an artificial column and beam look when it's completed. Let me show you something that's a little different, and it wasn't here last week, and I want to bring this to your attention. You can see what this is. This is a retaining wall, and you kind of see the plan. The plan over here is to have a retaining wall that provides support between the actual fence, which will be coming along this side right here, and there'll be the step down from the front yard to the backyard, since this yard has such a big grade that goes from the front to the back. So they're going to be doing it here. It doesn't connect to the house. It will be connecting to the side of the fence right here to gain access to the backyard. Now, something we haven't done since they started doing the pour, we haven't done any visits to the rooftop. So let's go ahead and try climbing up to the top and seeing what it looks like now that the slab is poured on top, and they have the small wall around, which is going to be the screening for things like the air conditioned units and solar panels. Oh, before we go up on the rooftop, let's go ahead and talk with the contractor here. I got something I want him to share with you, and it's really important. It has to do with the rendering that these guys are doing here. Anyway, this is Romeo. You're familiar with him. He's the contractor over here. And what I want him to do is explain something that I see him doing that I don't see some other contractors doing around here. And it has to do with the rendering. Now, Romeo, I understand that you add something to your mixture, to your plaster mixture when you're doing your rendering on there. And I want you to talk a little bit what that is and what is the advantage of using it.
Okay. Let's go and grab some materials that we're adding to the plaster that we are doing now. Okay, so we're using this. The brand is Dr. Seal. It is fibrate. It is mixed to the mortar to do for plastering. And a bag of this one, small one, is mixing to one bag of cement. This is a dry mix fiber reinforcement.
So it makes the plaster stronger.
Yes.
Okay, so I see from what it says on the bag, and the bag says it has superior abrasion resistance. It adopts a seismic tolerance, which is really important in places like the Philippines, where we have all these earthquakes and seismic activity. Develops tensile strength of concrete over time, and it prolongs the life cycle of the concrete. So all of these are really good reasons I can see to do this inside your plastering.
And also, we're applying this one before we do the rendering. This latex bonding agent. This to improve adhesion of concrete and plaster to difficult surfaces.
Okay, so that actually gives you a better, and it says it right there, it improves the adhesion of all your plaster mix against the existing concrete. It makes a much stronger bond. Cool. Now before we go up on the roof, Romeo wanted me to share with you, you see all the formwork here that is the base for all the ceiling or the slab that's on for the roof. All this is going to be removed over the next 2 days. And what we'll do, we'll come back down here and we'll revisit everything, because it's going to be really interesting to see it without all the scaffolding here and everything that's the support for holding up all the concrete formwork for the slab on the roof. Alright, well here we are up on the roof now, and this is the first time I've actually been up on the roof myself. I've been watching these guys from across the street from Earl and I've been watching them do work over here, but this is the first time I've been over here, and I like what I see. Of course, you see the floor drains inside there. All the floor drains are going to provide all that free water to the cistern that's underneath the swimming pool over on this side here. Now remember, the cistern is underneath it, something like 30 cubic meters of space here that they'll be able to save all the water and save the demand on the water that comes from the subdivision, which is really critical when you start getting a lot of houses built. Anyway, you can see doing some cleanup over here. This is the finished rendering of the top. There is, I think, 2 levels of concrete hollow block, and then on top of the concrete hollow block, it's solid cast in place right on top of it, like what you see what they're doing all around the top over here. And when designing your roof on your house, you should take a lot of things into consideration. And when we built our roof, because of the style, the Mediterranean style, the architecture of it was what you see. It's about a 35-degree pitch. It's not flat, but it's very nice, but it's not as secure as this type of roof in the event that you have typhoons or what we call in North America hurricanes over here. This will survive anything, no matter what you do. And it also provides protection. If you have a set of solar arrays that you have up here, you won't see it from the street, you won't see it from the backyard. The solar array can be put in place up here, and it's also protected some from the winds that are blowing from the sideways because of the small retaining wall that goes around here. So again, that works over there. It looks nice, and if it's built correctly, it will handle, which we've been up to signal 4s over here, or category 4s, several of them since we built this, and our roof is done fine. It's got a little bit of brown stuff all over it and black stuff from the volcano, which is right over there. Which yesterday, I got to tell you, yesterday it was really active. The whole sky was blue and there was a major plume going up, so we might have to do a report on the volcano to see what's going on with the volcano. But anyway, this is where they are right now. They're doing some cleanup inside here, and they're very close to finishing up this area, and they'll do the final thing like the drain covers inside here, and they'll be prepping for the air conditioning units. And I already see over there's one of the air conditioning unit connections right there. Now, I don't know that they're going to use it for that, but they actually have enough space if they wanted to. They could actually have some chairs up here. And they have a breathtaking view of Mount Malariat, which is just to the side of our house from this vantage point over here. In the morning time, lots of shade from the trees that are over on this side that would give them some shade here. But I don't think they're going to be using it for that. And I know Gerard, he's very, very white, and I don't think he's a fan of the bright sun out here anyway. Now you're probably wondering, what is the shape that you see right here? Well, let's go down and we'll talk a little bit about this little feature in the front of their house as well. All right, I said I was going to talk with everybody about this kind of a V-shaped thing that's going on up here. So I think the letter V is the key, right? Yeah. Because everybody knows, if they watch from the very beginning, the episode 1, which is the design, this is called Casa Vi. Casa Vi is the wife of Gerard here, of the building, and that's why it's tenderly known as Casa Vi. So this is actually a V, and there's going to be some ironworks that goes inside. So that's going to get, like on the front of our house over there, we have I'll show you real quick. Hold on. Much easier to show than to tell. We are known here as Villa Feliz, and Villa Feliz is happy country home for those of you who don't know what Villa or Feliz means in Spanish. Anyway, this is Casa Vi, and that's what the V symbol is going to be on the very top of the house there. Now those are all the plants that V's collecting. She's so anxious. Even the house is not built yet, but she's ready to start putting plants on the ground. And they've been going, every chance that they can, they've been going out looking at plants and picking up plants and sticking it around the outside of Baje Cupo over here in anticipation of that day that can go in the ground. And I think it's gonna look beautiful once they do. They picked out some really nice plants and citrus trees and palms. It's gonna look really nice. Well, anyway, I hope you got an understanding today about the importance of doing rendering properly if you're going to render the outside of your house. I hope you kind of got some tips on things that will make your rendering stronger. The adhesion of your plaster to the existing concrete on the side of your house. All these little things, it will pay off in the years to come, because a lot of times you don't start noticing all those faults if you don't do it properly until 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Why not start smart and start with the right way at the very beginning? Okay, well, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little My PI Dream heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed and notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such time, from right here in the beautiful Philippines, you have a wonderful and blessed day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.